listening to DORiS Radio.
You're listening to DORiS Radio on WHCP.
You're listening to DORiS Radio on WHCP.
You're listening to DORiS Radio
DORiS
on
Radio on
WHCP.
WHCP 101.
Welcome back, guys. You're listening to DORiS Radio with Erica Matthews on WHCP, a great place to be in Cambridge, Maryland.
Woo woo! Welcome back, y'all.
Hey.
So, we've been talking about, the differences in life and the COVID and all this stuff. What are some things that you guys are looking forward to for, when do we go back to normalcy, if we ever go back to normalcy? What are your future hopes and goals?
I guess I'll start this one off.
Yeah.
We were having it for a while, but I want to go back to, shows again. I miss that atmosphere of seeing artists do what they do, and even being an artist myself, it was a way for me to reflect on myself and take certain parts of their performances and incorporate it into mine. It's just fun being in that atmosphere and networking with other creatives. So that's something that I definitely miss. I'm not sure how things are going to pan out, but I was supposed to start my after school program back up when I'm teaching kids how to create music. Yeah. And the program is called Lyrics and Logic. And so this is an after school program at my school where I teach kids how to drum, how to DJ, how to produce, how to build a song from the ground up and record. So it's usually like a 6-week to 9-week period, and we usually meet up on Mondays. They get a snack after school, and then we go right into it.
You should let them hear your samples.
Yeah. I could probably play one of the songs during the break.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
You want to shout out your school?
We'll say shout out to Anne Arundel County,
Hey, shout out
because I
to
don't
Arundel
want to put
County.
too much of my business out there too.
Okay. So this is going to sound bad, but I actually don't want things to go back to normal. Not in that way, but in a way that we are making so much progress that sounds bad. Scratch that part out. So what I mean to say is that I don't think that there is a possibility to go back to normal because we've already gone way too far as, and I'm going to keep talking about VR because people like Travis Scott don't mind, his last situation. Yep. But when he started doing the virtual reality, what's the word I'm looking for? Shows like he did on Fortnite. Thank you. My brain. So that kind of opened the door for a different kind of audience. And so now when, if you have an Oculus, you can go on and there are more artists signing up to do virtual reality kind of performances. And I think that is a new future. I'm not saying that, there will be no live music anymore. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, there's going to be a new audience and a new way to tour and a new way to perform that won't hurt the musician's pocket, because I'm sure a lot of musicians suffered during the panorama,
Yup.
whatever you want to call it.
It'll be a new fusion, kind of like in the classroom. We'll have that incorporated and that'll be the new normal.
Exactly. So I think that this exciting new George Jetson future.
Yes.
By the way, he was born in August 29th, 2022, so coming up. Yeah, seriously, go look it up. Okay. So I think that there's this new amazing future coming up, and I don't think we should go back. I think we should be willing to go forward.
I love that, man.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on that a little bit. I like both, but I feel like the art of hand to hand, being able to pass out my CD to you, that art is lost in marketing as well as in music, because it's like you can just scroll past me. And I feel like with a lot of artists today, it's not necessarily about your music, it's the relatability. And I feel like unless you're looking for me or I just happen to stumble across, your viewpoint in the virtual reality realm or on social media, I can't necessarily touch you or be able to, give you that that feel as if we were in person. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So devil's advocate. Now, looking at the way this pandemic is happening, if we look back at the 1920s when the original influenza happened, or Spanish flu, whatever you want to call it, the Spanish flu influenza did not end in the time frame that it was set to end in. I think the same thing is going to happen. So if you look back, the influenza ended up being, it's called a, I want to say it's called an endemic. Anyway, it ended up becoming seasonal. So it really didn't go away or become the flu as we see it today until like the 1950s. We're starting to have the same trend. Like this thing keeps changing and it keeps affecting, and it's really not going to go away until at least 70% of the population is vaccinated. And that's not going to happen. If you don't get vaccinated, that's totally your choice. But people aren't going to mask up. They're going to do what they want to do because they have the right to do so. Because of that, this thing is going to keep mutating and doing God knows whatever and affecting people. So I think that we have to look forward to new avenues and ways to make money by using technology, because there may be times where we cannot, for health reasons, afford to go out and touch people and, spread things. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we can't even eat like salad now because now there's a new listeria outbreak. Like, there's a lot going on, and technology is a really safe and affordable way, really, for people to connect. I mean, if you have a cell phone, you have a way to connect to the internet and therefore connect to other people. You don't have to worry about buying a plane ticket, purchasing a CD when you can stream someone's music and help them make money that way. I just don't think it's feasible to want to go back to the old ways. It's beautiful. It is. And at the same time, it was beautiful to be able to go on a subway and get somebody's cassette and then go back, to the house and play their cassette. But things change. We got a devil's advocate.
The only thing with that is, for, I want to say is what, 1 million streams, you only make $4,000. So that money is going to that company, whether it's DistroKid or whatever the distribution company is. If I sell you my CD, all that profit goes to me. That's my only.
Okay, so how many people, and you have to think, and we had a mentor that actually said something really smart. When record labels sell, they sell to 13-year-old children, because that is the newest upcoming generation. So how many 13, 14, 15-year-olds do you know that have a CD player? How many do you know that have a cell phone?
Very true. I just missed that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Part of the art.
So whatever you do is what I'm trying to say is whatever you do to make money, you can't look at your peers. Well, you can, but you can't. You can't really look at your peers as an investment. You have to look at the generation before. This is why I love teaching, because really teaching is a way to stay afloat, to stay abreast, to see what's new, what's happening. Because these kids are truly our future. Whatever they do will set the tone for how we survive and we live as the elderly. So it's like, how do we service them when they get our age? What do they want when they're our age? They don't want CDs. They want to be comfortable. These guys are smart, but they are lazy. So they want everything in the palm of their hand. What can you do to sell them a song that they can access, that makes them feel good, that they can feel a part of?
Agreed.
I think it's a combination of both.
Exactly. I was just going to say, there just needs to be a balance, because it's just like with us. I feel like we're the last generation of, we can look in a encyclopedia for information as well as be able to look on, the internet and research. So there has to be a balance there.
I agree. Sorry, this is how our debates usually go. So it's just like we weren't even here for a second. We were at home on the couch. Like, no.
Tell me about a great debate you've had?
Oh my God.
Too many.
Yeah, like you want one from yesterday? Like this is I don't know how. Like he's a Virgo, I'm a Leo, so this can go all day. Like
That's awesome. I always think of the show, the Denzel movie, The Great Debaters,
Mhm.
and but yeah, I love the whole debate club aspect. I think that's where the best growth comes from.
Yeah.
That's the type of conversation where we get the most knowledge, the most growth,
Mm-hmm.
the most change, and I think any change is positive change, and so I feel like that's where it's
Right.
at. That's what it's about. So it's beautiful that you're able to do that. You know?
yeah, I grew up watching my parents do this, and it was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And they would always disagree on everything, but they would never. It was never a fight. It was always factual information going back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Until it would get absolutely ridiculous, and then it would be all right. And that's the same way, and I love that about this man, because I can just sit here and we can go back and forth.
Oh.
It doesn't really get heated, but if it does, like it can
We
easily.
know how to bring it back.
Yeah,
And you're sharpening each other. You know, iron sharpens iron. And
Yeah.
keeping each other fresh, and you're always educating each other about the world and about yourselves.
we try. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Let's tell me about your personal self-care routines, if you have one.
Should I take this one first?
You take that.
All right. For me, I would say definitely affirmations. I'm really big into that because even if you think of it from a spiritual thing, like in the Bible says, life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you think about from a spirit, or I'm sorry, not spiritual. What's the word I'm looking for? And another aspect as far as like, oh gosh, can we start that over?
Sorry, I was daydreaming.
Can you ask the question over here?
Oh yeah. So tell me about your personal self-care routine, if you have one.
I would say from like a spiritual aspect, I definitely agree with the quote from the Bible that life and death is in the power of the tongue, as well as, speaking positivity over yourself. I would also say definitely going to therapy, being able to unpack things that you didn't even know. And then it's funny, I heard this quote. It was like, people who go to therapy usually don't go to therapy for themselves, but for the people around them that need therapy. So I definitely agree with that. I believe everybody in some way, shape, or form needs someone to talk to. So that's definitely a way of producing self-care for myself, being able to, take that time, because I do. If anybody tells you, I work really, really hard, but, taking that time to just relax for a few minutes is definitely important.
So for me, it has definitely been a journey over the past 3 years. Like John said, I also started going to therapy. And some of the things that I do throughout the day, and it seems silly, but I check in with myself. Like, honestly, how am I feeling right now? Like, how does this conversation make me feel? How does this, like, really asking yourself, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need water? Learning how to say no, which is really, once again, something that seems so, and it seems so easy. Like, when we were 2, I got it. No. Right?
The kids are in tune.
Right. But then what happened? Like me growing up, because I was by myself, when I would have the opportunity to have a friend, I would go into people please mode. And I did that, and it broke me, and now I'm trying to rebuild that. And it's learning how to say no for a while was hard, and then it became really easy, too easy. Then I became a little mean, but you have to, So, like, learning how to say no for your own safety, and learning how to stop and relax. Because I can really, like, I just did a shoot not too long ago, and I worked on that thing for 2 weeks. I would just leave, come back, and I would find myself working on this, like, just analyzing it and scanning from, like, 7 until 11. just scanning and just like
I'm able to turn the brain off.
yeah, just knowing when to just back away from stuff, being like, okay, no, this isn't going to just stop. Like just learning when to say no and stopping, and just like being present in the moment, and just enjoying yourself, enjoying a moment, and not thinking about putting it on Facebook or Instagram. Just enjoying that moment. Because yes, you can remember a picture. You know, pictures are great and everything, but there's something special about just being there and just looking back at it and just remembering that moment. I mean, pictures are great, but I mean, I don't know. That moment matters more.
Moments matter, yo.
Yeah, moments matter.
I love it, man. Let's go into our second track. Tell me about number 2. Awesome, man. Let's go into it.
Yes,
yo.
sir.
We'll be right back with more of Jonathan and Erica when we get back. This is DORiS Radio on WHCP 101.5. Keep it live.
You're listening to DORiS Radio on WHCP
You're listening to DORiS Radio on
Listening to
WHCP.
DORiS Radio.
DORiS
on
Radio,
WHCP.
WHCP 101.5.